Yeah, we know the Labour government haven't exactly been positive about Donald Trump in the past. I mean, ministers have called him a racist, called him a misogynist, called him a white supremacist, called him a KKK sympathiser, all the insults under the sun. So surprise, surprise, Keir Starmer.
It's been reported that Keir Starmer is planning to deploy King Charles in a last-ditch attempt to win over Donald Trump. Emily, I've got to say, I wish him the very best of luck because Trump didn't even invite Starmer to his inauguration. What does he think that King Charles will do to help him?
Keir Starmer's political career is in free fall. The Labour leader, once hailed as the future of British politics, now finds himself persona non grata in Trump's inner circle. This isn't just a clash of personalities, it's a seismic shift in UK-US relations that could reshape the geopolitical landscape.
We know that Donald Trump particularly loved the late Queen Elizabeth. He did have a state visit where he met the Queen and spent the day with her, well, a couple of days. So this is a move from Keir Starmer, but I think Keir Starmer probably should look at himself. Not invited to the inauguration, despite the fact that so many other foreign leaders have been. But yes, he's going to wheel out the royal family, which probably is a sensible move. We know that Donald Trump loves the royal family.
The question on everyone's lips, can Starmer survive this international humiliation? Keir Starmer's ascent to Labour leadership was nothing short of meteoric. He promised a fresh start for British politics, a blend of pragmatism and progressive values that would rejuvenate the party and challenge the Conservative government. But as we've seen time and time again, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Starmer's initial popularity was undeniable. He was seen as a unifying figure, capable of bridging the divide between Labour's traditional working-class base and its more metropolitan supporters. His background as a human rights lawyer and his role as Director of Public Prosecutions lent him an air of competence and gravitas that many felt had been lacking in the party's leadership. But the honeymoon period was short-lived. As Starmer navigated the treacherous waters of British politics, cracks began to appear in his carefully crafted image. His handling of internal party disputes and his stance on Brexit left many questioning his leadership style. Was he too cautious, too willing to compromise, or was he simply out of his depth? It was Starmer's approach to international relations, particularly with the United States, that would prove to be his undoing. In a move that raised eyebrows on both sides of the Atlantic, Starmer decided to weigh in on the US elections. He criticized Trump's policies and openly supported the Democratic candidate. While this might have played well with some segments of the British public, it was a massive miscalculation on the international stage. Political analysts were quick to point out the risks of Starmer's strategy. Dr. Emily Thornberry, a professor of international relations at LSE, noted it's highly unusual for a British opposition leader to take such a partisan stance in another country's elections. Starmer was playing a dangerous game, one that could have serious repercussions for UK-US relations. And repercussions there were. Trump, never one to take criticism lying down, publicly rejected Starmer's overtures for a meeting during a state visit. The moment was captured on live TV, a humiliating spectacle that left Starmer stammering and the British public cringing. The fallout was immediate and severe. Conservative MPs were quick to pounce, accusing Starmer of jeopardizing the special relationship between the UK and the US. Even within his own party, voices of dissent began to emerge. One Labour backbencher, speaking on condition of anonymity, said, "Keir's handled this whole situation terribly. He's made us look like amateurs on the world stage." As the dust settled, it became clear that Starmer's actions during the US elections had come back to haunt him in a big way. His attempt to play international power broker had backfired spectacularly, leaving him isolated and vulnerable. The man who was once hailed as Labour's great hope now found himself fighting for political survival. Trump's snub of Starmer wasn't just a personal slight, it's a diplomatic tremor that sent shockwaves across the Atlantic. The special relationship between the UK and US has been a cornerstone of global politics for decades, shaping everything from trade agreements to military alliances. But now, with Trump's very public rejection of the Labour leader, that relationship is on shaky ground. Let's be clear, this isn't just about hurt feelings or bruised egos. The implications for Britain's standing on the world stage could be profound. Experts are warning that Trump's cold shoulder could have serious consequences for UK-US relations, particularly when it comes to crucial areas like trade deals and security cooperation. It's not just a matter of pride, it's about Britain's ability to punch above its weight in global affairs. But here's where things get really interesting. As Starmer licks his wounds, there are whispers that other figures might be waiting in the wings to fill the vacuum. Nigel Farage, for instance, seems to be cozying up to Trump. Could we be seeing a shift in who holds the reins of the UK-US relationship? It's a possibility that's sending shivers down the spines of many in Westminster. The international reaction to this diplomatic crisis has been telling. Other world leaders are starting to question Starmer's ability to effectively represent the UK on the global stage. After all, if he can't keep things stable at home, how can he be trusted to navigate the treacherous waters of international diplomacy? And let's not forget the elephant in the room: those pesky allegations of election interference. Trump's campaign team has been throwing around accusations that the Labour Party meddled in the US elections. True or not, these claims have thrown a massive spanner in the works of UK-US relations. It's hard to see how Starmer can salvage any kind of working relationship with Trump while these allegations are hanging over his head. But perhaps the most worrying aspect of all this is what it says about the nature of international relationships in the Trump era. The US president seems to prefer leaders he sees as loyal, regardless of long-standing alliances or shared values. It's an approach that could reshape global politics in ways we're only beginning to understand. As Starmer grapples with the fallout from Trump's rejection, his political career hangs precariously in the balance. The Labour leader's international standing has taken a severe hit, echoing the struggles of former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown after the 2008 financial crisis. Brown's leadership crumbled under the weight of public disapproval, a fate Starmer now faces as he navigates this diplomatic minefield. The upcoming Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit looms large on Starmer's horizon. It's not just a meeting, it's a make-or-break moment for the beleaguered politician. Can he engage effectively with world leaders and restore faith in his leadership? Or will this summit become yet another nail in the coffin of his political ambitions? As the dust settles on this international humiliation, one question remains: is this the beginning of the end for Starmer's political career? The future of UK-US relations hangs in the balance, with potential global ramifications that extend far beyond the personal fate of one politician. Starmer's ability to weather this storm will not only determine his political survival, but could reshape the landscape of British politics for years to come.